Hey Bay Youth, welcome to the So Good Podcast.
So good!
Hey Bay Youth, welcome to the So Good Podcast. We are here on our So Good Saturday of April, and I'm so excited. My name is Nathan.
My name is Lou.
And we have a very special guest today. We have our brand new youth director, Sienna.
Yeah, we do.
Welcome
Hi,
to the
guys.
podcast, Sienna.
Thank you.
We're so
good.
happy to have you here.
So happy to have you on the So Good Podcast.
So good.
So good. I'm gonna move on.
Okay,
So
yeah, don't do
before
that
we dive into the topic and all the things that we will be talking about, we have a little segment that we like to call the So Goods on the So Good Podcast. So, please, Sienna, tell us something that is fun and fresh, exciting, that is so good, that is happening in your life.
Well, as you said, I'm going into youth director role, which
Yeah.
is really exciting. And so one of my best friends from childhood took my job. So every day we've been driving to work together and we get to commute together and it's so
That's
much
the best.
fun. And, I get to work with my best friend. So it's really fun.
That's so good.
Yeah,
So
that is
fun,
so good.
fresh.
What an amazing So Good. Honestly, that just really warmed my heart.
It's so good of a couple months. Like it's
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah.
It's gonna
It is.
be-
It's going to be a really good couple months.
So good. How many times can we say so good? Can we
You
set a
know,
counter,
I feel
please?
like we should do a recap of the year and do like a So Good counter.
No, it's going to be that will be a whole podcast of itself of us just saying the words.
I think we
so
we
good.
can make another 35-minute episode of a So Good.
Real.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Lou, what's your so good of the week?
Oh, thank you for asking.
You're so
My So
welcome.
Good of the week is I went like antiquing, so not even thrifting, but antiquing. I don't know. I think
Sure.
that's close
Yeah.
enough. Just it's super cool to like see other like each thing kind of has like its own little story and behind it like somebody used to like own that it used to belong to them and everything, so you kind of just like look around and everything's kind of old and like it's just kind of fun and fresh, and I always liked that stuff. Like growing up, I just like old things because it just makes it really cool to think about like who owned this and what's the story and why did they have it and why did they buy it and all this stuff. So that was my
Yeah,
So Good.
and most of those stores, it's like sections of different people putting in their stuff.
Yeah.
So you have like totally different styles and different
Mhm,
things
mhm.
all in one store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
no,
that's
absolutely.
cool, too.
See, it is. Yes, it's really cool. I really like it.
Hey, Lou, you know what that is?
What?
That's so good.
That
Now you're just.
I
trying
feel
to
like
put it
now
down.
you're
No.
really trying to get the counter up. Just,
I really
just for the.
am trying. Oh, well, my so good of the week. Thank you so much for asking, guys.
You didn't give me the chance.
Oh, did I not?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Okay, let me try. Let's hold on. Rewind.
Wait, rewind.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, Lou, you know what that is?
No.
It's
But
so
wait,
good.
I didn't think we were doing that all the way. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's rewind. I'll start.
Okay.
Hey Nathan, you know what? I would really like to hear you're so great.
So good of the week.
You're so good of the week. Why don't you start? Finish.
Okay. Well, my so good of the week is last night I got to hang out with my sisters and we went to In-N-Out.
Yeah.
And
I saw you there.
Oh, you did see me there.
did,
you
yeah.
did call me.
It's like passing.
Yeah.
Aw.
I haven't been to the Brownwood In-N-Out in like a minute. I live in Pleasant Hill, so I'm always at the Pleasant Hill one.
Oh wow.
But I've not been to the Brentwood one, and it was honestly so good. My sister, she got like probably like 9 of like the little ketchup like bowls, not bowls. What do you
Oh,
call those? Like
Yeah,
the
little cups,
Yeah,
the little
little
cups.
paper little.
paper cups.
Mhm.
She got like 8 of them for one thing of French fries, and she was like, "I just wanted enough ketchup,"
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
and she
You
went
know
through
the trick?
one.
Do you know the trick where you
Oh,
pull
she-
apart?
She knows
them?
the trick.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like pull
Yes.
apart the little
Yeah.
folds, and it makes
No,
it
but
like
then
a
you can
plate.
hold like double the amount of ketchup.
Oh yeah.
And it actually get your bang for your buck for
That-
real.
That could never be
Except
me.
for-
I think I would stay as far away as possible from ketchup if I could, but
Really?
yeah, like I have this like really like I despise it. Like I smell it and I like gag. Like I just can't take it.
Okay,
For
I have a
ketchup?
question.
Please.
Okay.
Do you guys like ketchup with your eggs?
I am a firm believer that yes, ketchup belongs on scrambled eggs.
This is really awkward. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe this should just be the podcast between you guys. Like
Oh.
this is making it
I
really
think
awkward.
it's
Do you-
good.
do you
it's
think?
good. No, yeah, I like that. That
Yeah.
and like hot sauce, but like ketchup
Okay,
is
yeah.
good. Like,
You know what I discovered though? Okay, this is where I draw the line. Is I was at Brandon Wells's house the other day, and we had like breakfast for dinner. Like that was the vibe of the night.
Oh yeah.
And he put mustard on his scrambled eggs,
absolutely not.
and I was like,
Good
Brandon
thing we
Wells,
already
I
had
love
him on
you.
the podcast because
Yeah,
that's really awkward.
That is so.
I think that's where we draw the line. I'm
That's
like,
Yeah.
ooh,
I don't even eat eggs or ketchup.
oh,
So
Eggs
Okay.
either.
no,
You know, that's okay.
Not really.
Like-
They kind of creep me out. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine. I
yeah.
Yeah. I feel
Okay,
So-
what's the next one?
So instead of food, we actually have bevs. Hey, Lou,
oh
wanna tell
my
us about
gosh,
that?
yes. Let's talk about our bevs. Sorry, guys. My bad. I was so focused on the mustard on the. Anyways, I'm just going to move on. Okay.
Anyways.
So, Sienna, on our podcast, we just like to have bevs of the day because we're always bevved up, you know?
Always.
I feel like you're also somebody who always has a bev. I don't know. I just feel like.
Yeah, I don't really like drinking water.
Exactly. Isn't that perfect?
Yeah.
Who needs
not
water,
good.
right? Okay, so
I
why
should
don't
drink.
you
All of
share
us.
what bev you have with us and why you picked it today?
Right now, I have a Red Bull.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm actually supposed to not be drinking as many
Ooh.
energy drinks, but I only had like 5 hours of sleep, which for me is not a
Oh, I
lot.
thought you were about to say you had 5 today. I was like,
I was
oh.
no, I thought you were gonna say I only had 5 this week, and I was
No,
like, oh,
no,
we're
no,
only
no.
on Thursday, so okay.
Yeah.
No. 5 hours of sleep.
Okay.
Mm.
So I have a Red Bull
Yeah.
at the moment.
This is the most Sienna drink, though. I feel like if I had to picture something to get you without you telling me, I would give you a Red Bull.
That yeah. Or
Yeah.
just straight espresso. My
Oh,
my
interesting.
my drink right now is an Americano, which is like espresso and water.
Yeah.
But it's like black coffee, but you're also getting the flavor of espresso,
Yeah.
which I'm obsessed with.
I don't know if I could do that. I'm not like that much of a coffee lover. Like I have to like sweeten it like
I'm
so much.
an actual barista, and I do not have any straight up espresso. I need
Well,
like cream sugar, all the things.
yeah.
You have to have good espresso,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I'm like,
But like Starbucks
like
did
Jason
not.
Bishop, he's always
Yeah.
like, you have to have good espresso.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Yeah.
espresso.
because I work at Phil's, Jason Bishop, he approved of me working at Phil's because he enjoys the coffee.
It's good
So I was like,
coffee.
because he does not like Starbucks because it's not actual espresso. I mean, it's
Props
espresso,
to him.
but it's not
Props
good.
to him. Well, Nathan, what's your bev and why'd you pick it today?
Oh,
Well, my bev of the week is so I am known for like having a Diet Coke at all times.
Yeah.
Like I always have a Diet Coke. However, I've been in my recent era of enjoying me a Coke Zero, and this is my transitionary period, guys. I don't know what's wrong with
So-
me or what, but it's kind of good, and I would love to give you guys some ASMR about it. Here, listen.
I really didn't enjoy that, so I'm just gonna move on to mine.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question about
Okay,
your
go,
Coke
yeah.
Zero.
Please
Does
do.
it taste different than your Diet Coke?
It does, and that's all.
Okay, that's my okay.
Okay.
Now back to you, Lou. Lou,
I'm
your
still disturbed by his
bev
moment of
your day
ASMR.
Thank you so much.
today.
Every single episode, I plan to bring a yerba on the episode, but I never end up craving it that day. And so I've kind of been on a cleanse because it was getting pretty bad. It was getting pretty bad because it's just like, I don't know, I thought it was better than soda. But today, I have a little bit of a crush can yerba mate.
Ooh, always crushed.
Flavor, revel. Whoa, that's a tongue.
Okay, moving on.
A tongue twister. Anyways, you get
got
the
it.
point.
It's the berry one.
Fun
good.
fact. Shout out for a free sponsor because they won't sponsor me yet, but they came out with a new flavor, so you guys
Didn't
should go try
you
it.
ask them for your senior quote?
Yes, and it was really just their hashtag, but I missed my senior quote moment, so I
We're
feel
gonna
like
move on.
maybe we should just move on.
Also, before we actually dive into the episode, I would love to acknowledge we are in a different set today. We are in a brand new studio. We are in the new and improved youth office that Sienna will find herself spending a lot of time in as
she will.
Oh
in
yeah.
her new role. But it's kind of an aesthetic. It's kind of a vibe.
Yeah,
Kind of all the things.
and we hope to see you back here again in future episodes and
yeah.
what
Or
not.
we might switch it up.
Or we might switch
We'll
it up
just
on you
see.
every single episode because that's more fun, right?
You know, got to keep
So.
them on your toes.
Yeah.
So
like
hey
that.
Lou, want to please introduce what we're actually gonna be talking about this episode?
I would love to. Sienna, I mean, we know your name, we know your bev of the week, you're so good of the week, but we just love to know, what's your favorite hobbies? How'd you get here at the Bay? What's your role? Just kind of like a little get to know you before we really dive deep into your story as a whole.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you guys know I am transitioning into youth director role. But before that, I was super involved in my last church. Pretty much ran the middle school. I love middle school and high school. Something about it. It's just that's when they're on fire for God. That's when a lot of people give their heart to Christ is in middle school and high school.
Mhm.
And actually like are open to receiving Jesus, which I think is absolutely incredible. And so, yeah, I just have a passion about middle school and high school and getting them to Jesus and helping them with their walk with Jesus. So right when I walked into the Bay Church, I went to the Brentwood campus.
Mhm.
And,
Brentwood.
oh, yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
I went because he's my fiance, but he was my boyfriend at the time. And that's something about me. Oh my gosh,
she's good
Please
in
tell
the
us.
mix.
There's so much. But yeah, I walked into the church and I ran up. I found out that Nathan was in charge of the youth, so I said, okay,
The other Nathan.
the other Nathan. Sorry. I just said, hey, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm bad at. I would love to serve. And
You're so direct.
yes, I
Yeah.
was super.
That's
and
perfect.
then even like I worked at a different. I worked at a bagel shop. I was like a manager at a bagel shop, and I was like, I just need to get my foot in this church. And so I told Pastor Ray, I said, I will take out the trash. I said this. I was like, I will take out the trash. I'll do anything you need. Just get me in the door of this church. And so that's what he did. And he said, there's a front desk position. And I was like, oh, that's so scary. But I took it because I'm like, hey, if God wants to do this, then it's going to work out. So, and it has. And now I'm here, the youth director, which is something I'm super passionate about. And then back to Evan. He's my fiance,
Aw.
soon to be husband at the
Yeah.
end of the
Heyo.
month. I'm so excited. He's incredible. He's so amazing. You'll probably see him in the back of the tech booth because that's his job right now.
Production.
I'm not that. I cannot. That's one of the things I said. Don't put me in the tech booth because I will screw everything up.
You'll just
But-
hit random buttons like
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like
hoping it does
I could
something.
be welcome team. I could talk to
Yeah.
students, but when it's behind a computer in that realm, I'll do so bad.
Not
Yeah,
your
maybe
role.
maybe just something else instead, you know? Yeah. That's
For real.
amazing. Look how God has just shown up and provided. And you know what, guys, fun fact, me and Sienna,
Please.
Yes,
we pretty
yes.
much, like I grew up with Sienna, okay? So it's really cool to see how we grew up at the same church, and so the church that you were talking about, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then I think like how you got here at the Bay because you were here before I was, and just to see like I don't know how God has provided you with just as simple as like seeing you at the front desk when we walk in, to now moving into a more prominent position at youth. It's really amazing and really exciting to see how God has just done tiny little things to set you up for this
Well,
amazing
same
spot.
thing with you. I knew you when you were a little kid.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like she was my little sister's best friend. And so they would come over for sleepovers and I probably drove you around a bunch of places
Yes,
when
I
I
remember
first started
that.
driving. Yeah, and so it's really cool to
remember
see you leading in the aspect that you are in youth ministry. So I think
you.
that's I'll ditto that back
Ditto.
to you. Back to you.
Retweet.
Hey, you know what that
Retweet.
is?
Is
That's so good.
Maybe we should just
Okay.
mute your mic at this point. Just
So Sienna, one thing that I don't think you mentioned, but one thing that we have in common is that we both grew up
Yes.
in big families.
Yes.
We both have 7 siblings. We are
7 siblings.
7
And
siblings.
both from the same parents had 7
Yeah.
kids.
Me too.
That is crazy.
That's actually insane. So please tell us the dynamic of what it was like growing up in a big family. Tell me all the things, like how you grew up,
what was the family environment?
and family dynamic, environment, all the things. Please
Well-
tell us a little bit more about that.
A little bit unlike you. You were mainly boys in the house.
Yeah, in my
You don't-
family, there were 6 boys. I'm number 6.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 younger sisters.
We're twins.
We're twins.
That's so
They're my
cute.
faves. Shout out Eileen and Haley.
That's
The
my
cutest.
dream to have little twins. Oh my gosh. No, I am opposite. We're all girls.
Mhm.
And I'm technically the middle child because the oldest is 10 years older than me and the youngest is 10 years younger than me. 'Cause there's no middle in 8. So,
Yeah.
fun fact. I don't know if you knew
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I actually didn't. That was like just something I didn't
please.
know. Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so much
so
for that lesson.
technically middle child, middle child syndrome.
That part.
No, but you know, big families, it's amazing and it's fun. There's so much laughter. My family is very creative. We're a very creative family. Majority of us were homeschooled because can you imagine my mom driving to all of the different schools
That's
because we're so far
true.
in age, like it could not happen. Yeah, so very, very tight knit.
Mhm.
A lot of us are moved out of our mom's house, or my dad passed away. So that, like, okay, we all have to kind of figure out where we need to live now. And
Yeah.
so a couple of us moved out, a couple of us got married and moved out. And so it's kind of like as you turn 18,
yeah.
you leave.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's fun. It's a fun journey. And I know 8 sisters is a lot sometimes. but I wouldn't choose it any other way.
Yeah. No, because it's funny because you and I have just like we live like the same life,
Yes.
but it's also just the opposite.
Just flip flopped.
Yes.
Because you're all girls, my family is mainly all like all guys, and then like your dad passed away, but like my mom passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and we were both around the same age when that happened, and like all the things. We recently found out we both had the same family car growing up.
Are you
Um,
serious?
It was a
12 passenger.
12
The van?
passenger white van.
No.
Yes.
That's what I grew up with. That's what Sienna grew up with.
You're kidding,
And
because in my mind that's engraved as like that's the Cornelius van.
Yep.
Like
no,
nothing
that
different.
was like the Jones. Was the van clean or was it dirty at all times?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
It was a good amount.
I
Well,
feel
we
like it was
would-
decently clean.
Yeah.
Like I never
Yeah.
remember it
Because
being.
like in my car, there was definitely like spilled soda at
Yeah.
all points. Like the
well, it was
way-
definitely it was like a lived in
know,
car. Like you
it
guys
was
like
lived in.
used it all the time.
It wasn't
Yeah.
just gross. Like we never
Yeah.
left it gross. We would let the church use it a lot, and so they would.
Mm-hmm.
We would tell them like, okay, you can use this for the like Mexico mission trip and things like that.
Yeah.
But they would have to clean it and give
Yeah.
it back.
No,
Well,
because we
yeah.
would do it for Hume Lake. Is like our van would be used
Oh
to go
my
up to
gosh.
Hume Lake.
No, because
and
I
all
feel
things.
like there's so many times where we're like, okay, we're gonna use a Cornelius van for this. Like
Yeah.
anytime we would just go somewhere. But like you guys are also all girls, so a lot of times like girls keeps things like decently clean.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
we're not boys for like spill our soda and just leave it.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh no, my mom had
Yeah.
many a days where she guys got to clean up.
But-
Like, the
Yeah,
way-
yeah.
Lou is kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
you have
Three brothers.
three brothers,
Mhm.
And this-
two sisters.
Two girls, yeah. So it's
This-
like me and my sister. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I get both. I get like the brother side of things. Like
Mhm.
if we're talking dirty car, like I get the dirtiness of
Mm.
boys,
Mhm.
but then I also get like being a girl. But it's not like it wasn't like girls like we're girly. Like it wasn't like that because I have two older brothers. So
Mhm.
I had like role models of a brother to kind of look
Mhm.
up to
Yeah.
rather than a really girly. And my sister wasn't really girly. And so
Mhm.
like I feel like it's kind of an interesting dynamic, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like I didn't feel like it was a cut clear like these
Mm.
are the girls and these are the boys.
yeah.
Plus
You-
my little brother didn't come till
Into the
6 years
picture.
later after I
Yeah.
was born. So, you know, like it was,
Yeah.
it was a lot
So
later.
like I kind of got the all guys side, you got the all girls side, and then you were kind of like in the middle.
and then I'm in the middle and it's like
Yeah.
a perfect picture of what it looks like right now.
Yeah.
I'm in
no,
the middle.
for real. Look
That's
at
so
you.
great.
But I think one thing though, I growing up in a big family though too, especially with like having a bunch of older brothers and I was being the youngest brother, and then like you having a bunch of older sisters and younger sisters and all the things, I feel like it's pretty easy to be compared to one another.
Oh.
I feel like that was the biggest thing growing up. Like it was nice having like role models for older brothers and stuff like that, but it was also like hey, like so and so did it this way, why aren't you doing it the same way? Or like they kind of like set the precedent of like how your life is kind of like gonna form out.
Oh, yeah.
So like, can you tell us? Did you ever like find yourself being compared to your older siblings or younger siblings, or like what was the dynamic with that as well?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Every single thing you said.
Yeah.
I think girls in general, we tend to compare ourselves. I think any person in general, we compare ourselves.
Mhm.
Girls in a different way, and sisters in a different way.
Mm.
And so, growing up, it was great because, you know, I had a lot of older sisters. So, like, we would go to church, the whole family, and my oldest sister, she was going through cosmetology school, and so then she would go and do every single sister's hair, and
Oh, wow.
then I would ask my other sister was great with outfits, and so like she would pick out everybody's outfits,
Yeah.
and then so that was a cool part where like we all got to like help each other in that way,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's also like anytime we went anywhere,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, you look so much alike, or and you're
Yeah.
like, okay,
That
I
part.
thought I looked
Yeah.
different.
That retweet.
Yes.
No, it's literally my mom was like a copy and paste machine. Like the way like me and all my brothers look alike, and then
Just
everyone.
different fonts.
Oh, I literally.
fonts.
Well, okay, same person, different font. I literally will have people text me of like, "OMG, I thought I just saw you, but it was my brother."
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Like this has happened to me in the last week of my life. Like
wow,
it does
that's
not
crazy.
does not end. Sorry,
Yeah.
continue with your story.
No, it's
That was
okay.
my-
And I feel like we get that not only with like looks, but we
Mhm.
also get that with like personality too.
Mm, yeah.
With 8 different people,
Yeah.
you're gonna have 8 different personalities,
Mhm.
and those are all very different, but also a lot alike. So then
Yeah.
they're like, they kind of just like just smush everybody together almost sometimes.
Yeah, well, they just like pick the things like, oh, if they know one of your sisters, like, I don't know, maybe better than when they meet you, they're like, oh my gosh, you do that like Lisette so much. You do this like this person so much. Oh my gosh, that's so Lisette of you. I'm using Lisette because that was the first one.
Shout out
that
Lisette
came to
though.
mind. Shout out
like,
Lisette.
she's the best.
Yeah.
I love all my sisters, but Lisette has a special place.
Yeah.
Sure.
She's my favorite. The way.
Don't tell Brielle that.
Oh no, I'm saying you're saying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said that also.
Careful, Brielle, if you're watching this.
We love Brielle.
You're forever my favorite.
That's also
I will
like,
stand firm that Cece is my
Brielle
favorite.
is the most bubbly,
She's excellent.
smiley person ever. And then you meet Simone. I'm just going to throw out a bunch of names. If you meet these people, you're like,
Guys,
Come to
these
you.
are
You
all
gotta
these
know.
are all names of the sisters, by the
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Another sister is like super fun and wild, and she's the life of the party. And then you have Lisette. She's so wise, but then she also is really fun. You
Yeah.
know?
She's such it's an interesting dynamic there. Every single one is an interesting dynamic.
Yep.
Like I love how it's so cool that there's 8 of you, yet I feel like, I don't know, maybe because I grew up with you guys, it doesn't feel like I always pick the similarities. Like I just got to see like everybody's differences.
Yeah.
I mean, and I obviously saw it from the perspective of like my best friend being your guys' sisters. But I just saw like each different thing. And as you guys grow up and I grow up, and then I see like, oh wow, like that's so different, or like this really sets them apart, or like this really sets you apart from your family. So,
Okay, I want to switch that back on you though. Since
Okay.
you had like boys and girls, like were you guys compared like that, or was
yeah.
it different because you had in very different ages too? Like Silas is so much younger than your oldest brother Treese. You know?
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good point. Sometimes okay, how would I answer that? Yes, definitely a comparison, but I wouldn't say the comparison in the sense of maybe how it was compared in your family, like, because it's all girls.
Yeah.
And I think girls a lot of times compare the way they look, like their body, their looks, their face, their hair, their makeup, their outfit, everything.
Yeah.
For me, it was more like, I feel like character and personality, because how am I supposed to be compared to my brother looks wise? You know, because it's impossible. I'm a girl.
Yeah.
But I do remember, like, even growing up at our church, it was really interesting because my brother was just as involved as you were, and he was a really prevalent face in the youth ministry. And I just remember always being like, you're so like this with your brother. You're so like this. And I never knew if I wanted to take that in a good way or a bad way, because everyone has their own personal feelings of their siblings. But like, I was just always like, I want to be my own person. Like, I want to be who I am. Like, I don't want to be compared to my brother. I don't want to have the reputation of my brother. Not that he had a bad one, but it was just like, I wanted to make a
not
name for
you.
myself, and
Yeah.
he wasn't me. But I also have a personality where I want to stand out. Like, I've never always wanted to just be like everybody else. I just wanted to find what could make me stand out. And so it was kind of interesting. And because of the age gaps, like, I wasn't always compared to my oldest brother, because we're so far in age. Like, by the time I would even enter a period of life where I could be compared, he was already graduated, onto life, whatever. And my sister and I are so different. Like, she's so much louder than I am. And
Even down to like the way that she laughs,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Oh, no,
it's
I hung out
it's
with them
awesome.
for the
Yeah.
first
The
time a few
whole
weeks
house
ago.
shakes.
No, the
No.
whole house shakes. Like, if it didn't, then she doesn't think it's funny. She doesn't think it's funny. And my laugh is like, oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Like,
or like, mine's a really
got
silent
'em.
laugh. Like, mine's a silent laugh. Like, when I
Yeah.
find something so funny, I'm like barely laughing because you can't hear it. And hers is like, wow, we could like put that in a jar and screw it.
Yeah.
You know?
And like a
Anyways.
year later, you would still hear it.
But then to also spin it back on you, Sienna, I'm curious, like, because there is comparison and there's 7 of you to compare, did you ever find yourself finding different ways to like stand out, or like make yourself so much different than the rest, to like maybe feel seen or feel heard, or to make people notice you better? Because it's hard to feel noticed all the time with so many people around you. And I know, like, for myself, I could think of so many things coming from a loud family. I know you come from a loud family. I know you definitely probably come from a loud family.
Yeah.
So there's no way to have so many siblings and not be loud. There would always be like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm a quiet personality compared to the rest of my siblings. Like, when everyone's in the room, I'm just like, I'm quiet,
Yeah.
you know, but when I'm by myself with other people, I'm loud. And so I'm curious to see if that's something relatable, but also like, what are things that you felt like growing up, and maybe even now, that you feel like you have to do to like stand out amongst your family?
Oh my goodness. I feel like, okay, when I was a kid, I wanted to be just like my older sister Simone, because she's beautiful. She was she was cool. All the boys would talk to her, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my goal. And so then I was just like, try to dress just like her. And then I got to a point when I was just like, I got to a couple weird phases where like, okay, fashion is my thing. And so I would wear fake glasses because I wanted to
I remember that, yeah.
be able to have glasses. And I was super like hipster. I was very
Yes.
What are the movie
super-
theater glasses that you popped out? Fill me in.
No, they were like
They were like glasses.
they were
Like,
actually
Oh, were they?
glasses.
Okay.
you know how like people wear blue light glasses now, like, but like it was
Yeah.
just like she
Oh,
wore.
okay.
But
yeah,
it
As
was
you should.
before blue light glasses were cool.
yes, that part. Yeah.
Oh, so you're the trendsetter. Is what you
Yeah,
are.
she was.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah.
continue,
Yeah.
please.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
No, we'll take that. But yeah, so I feel like I try to be. At first, it was like fashion, try to be like the sisters.
Mhm.
Then I got to a phase where I'm like, I'm gonna be crazy different and I'm gonna do that through my outfits.
Mm.
And then I feel like with youth ministry, I was like the one most involved in youth ministry in the way that I served. And so I was like, okay, I'm the one that is like the Jesus one, the Jesus sister.
Yeah.
And so now, even like now that I'm growing up, I feel like I kind of owned that of where I'm like, I'm the pastor sister, like I will be this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And now my sisters are like growing up and like Lisette just told me, hey, I kind of want to be a pastor. And she was like worried of my reaction. I'm like, no, Lisette, like that's amazing.
Yeah,
It's good,
no, it's
yeah.
That's
awesome. Yeah.
something I'm not, like, why would I ever, like, I don't want to take that as one thing because Jesus is incredible. And I want everybody to be able to reach other people with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I feel like I lost the question. So
Yeah.
I'm
No,
going to stop there.
I think that's
Yeah.
real because like it's because also in my family like two of my brothers like they're becoming like lawyers, then two other of them are becoming like law enforcement and like firefighter and like that whole, and I view them as like, oh, that's your like not your personality trait, but that's like who you are in my mind of like, oh, like you are like my like firefighter brother, you are like my cop brother, you are like my lawyer brother, like all the different things. But I think sometimes it's like comparing myself to them where it's like, oh, I'm not them. That's like not me. Like that's not like the path that like I've chosen to go down. So it's kind of like it is interesting seeing that like from your point of view, like family as well, like that's like how it operates in a similar sense where it's like, oh, like you're the pastor's sister, you're like the cosmetology sister, like you're like the whole 9 yards.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And again, we're all relatable. And so I'm like thinking like, oh man, that's so yes. Yeah. And I'm like listening to each like sibling, like I could go down the line. Like my brother, oh no, like he's the pastor. Like that's his thing. He likes to be in the church and like all the stuff. He's the Jesus-y one of the family, you know, which is funny because like you guys kind of
We
pair
were
together, right? Like in the
super
sense
close,
like 'cause
yeah.
you guys were close, but then also you guys are like age wise. And then like I look at my sister and I'm like, you're the missionary of the
Yeah.
family. Like that's your thing. You owned it. All this stuff. And my brother is like, he's not in, you know, like this type of ministry in a church building, but he just does it in a whole different, like in a traditional work setting. Right. And so then I look at myself, I'm like, how did I set myself apart? Like, you know, I always think, well, what am I categorized as? Because I don't have a specific thing to my name.
I also
you know?
feel like that's kind of my sisters too. It's like we all wanted to be different. Like we didn't want to be compared to our sisters as we're all the same people. And so everybody, I feel like, latched on to that one thing, and that one thing was their identity. You know,
Yeah.
like there
That's
was
real.
one sister, she was like, I'm the crafty sister. There's another one, that incredible artist, and then the hairstylist, and then the makeup artist, and then which we're all very creative. And then,
Yeah.
then
So creative,
Lisette is
absolutely.
now in Thrive, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's thriving.
She is thriving.
So it's kind of like the idea of like you guys growing up, we're all similar. You guys are all the whatever, but as you becoming your own person, you guys are becoming like different from one another. And I feel that's sometimes what society like projects onto people is that being different from others is like a negative thing. But when in reality, I think being different is like a really positive, like it can be a really positive thing. And like in like even like in the Bible, like I think it's like in 1 Corinthians, it talks about how we all are different members of the body of Christ. And like Have you like understood that verse? How like has that meant anything to you? Like kind of growing up, navigating life, being compared to others, like your siblings and everyone that you're around, but then also becoming like a different person and like finding your place and like what your role is in the body of Christ. Like how has that like impacted you at all?
Mm-hmm.
When I think about comparison,
Yeah.
first thing I think about is insecurity. You know, we're compared and we're like, okay, this person has this person has that. I think if you have a big family or if you have no siblings, you can relate to that comparison and insecurities. And I feel like growing up, it was always like, I've got to kind of cover up this insecurity and like blend in with everybody else, you know, but then like that verse that you talked about, if we're all trying to blend in and cover up our insecurities, then how are we going to reach all these people? We've all got to be different, and we've got to be confident in the things that make us different. And
that's good.
And I think
good,
it goes down to personality. It goes down to what you're good at. It goes down to the people that you can reach. Kind of like Lou, you're talking about. You got a missionary in your family. You've got somebody in the church culture. You got people in the outside work culture. And I feel like some of us, we can think, oh, comparison. That's the pastor's sibling. I'm not like that. I can't reach those people.
Yeah.
But that's totally not biblical. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that verse specifically, I never, like, you hear things that pastors say, you hear things in sermons all the time, and you're like, I don't really know how that relates to me all the time. And I used to think of it more in a, like, maybe a friendship aspect. Like, I don't want to compare myself to my friends and to whatnot. But more now, and even in this moment, I'm realizing, like, wow, like, it's very, very evident that being each, to own your insecurities, to own who you are and own who God has made you to be is so crucial to being the body of Christ. And if we were all to be the same, like, how does that work? Like, I don't think that's how God made us.
Yeah.
And so that leads me into my next question is, what do you feel like are the certain gifts that God has given you in life and in ministry that really has set you apart, or like set apart in your mind from maybe others? And not that not everybody can have the same gift, but like, I just want to hear what you feel
more
like those
so than
gifts
just
are.
like the pastor's sister, like whatever.
just labeling like maybe superficial things, but really like the gifts that God puts on people's lives and in them. Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like it goes. You know, my job at the moment is we're helping for a class that we do at the Bay Church. It's called Growth Track. And so one of the classes, it talks about, okay, how do you fit into the church? And so one of the things that we do is we learn what are the gifts that God has given you, and what are the abilities that you have? Like, what are the things that maybe are outside of spiritual gifts, but like abilities?
Yeah.
And so when I first started working at the Bay, I wanted to get into the church, right? And so I was like, I'm going to be in here. I'm going to do the front desk. I'm not very organized. I have dyslexia, and so words get mixed up in my brain, and I'm not very good at memorizing things. And I'm like, I'm the worst admin that you could ever have. Linda is incredible.
Never.
She's my boss. She's incredible because
shout out Pastor Linda.
She has so much patience with me, but there was a point where she was like, Sienna, you keep missing things, and I know you're trying really hard, but you keep missing things, and I don't know why. And we kind of just came to the conclusion that it's like, I am trying so hard, and it's literally just the fact that I am at the wrong seat in the bus. And so one thing that was huge was, okay, I'm doing something that I'm clearly not good at. I'm trying so hard, and you know what's happening? I'm getting burnt out. I'm getting frustrated. I'm not doing the best job that I could do.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of times when we try to fit into this mold that we think we're going to have to be in, we're going to get burnt out. We're going to get frustrated. We're not going to do as good of a job. And so what are those things that maybe you're good at outside of the Bible and church, and maybe it's
just like
organization.
Skills.
Yeah, are you organized?
Practical
are you
abilities.
creative? Are you like good in front of people? Are you good in the back of the room where nobody sees you in the tech booth, you know? So it's like, find those things and then see how that can work in a church setting, or how is that serving? Maybe it's not serving in a church. Maybe it's just giving your finances, and that's something that you're like, I make a buttload of money, but I can't do anything in the church, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, we all have things that we can do, and maybe those things, you know, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I'm just
No, you're
ranting.
doing
What's
good. No,
going on?
this
I
is really
think-
good.
I think
I
it's
like it.
because if we all were the same cookie cutter in every situation of life, like there would be no diversity. And I think that's like something beautiful that the body of Christ has, is diversity. And it's like, ministry isn't only in the context of a church building.
Yeah.
You can do your ministry at school,
Preach it.
at work, at like all of the different avenues of life that you're in. But also, I feel like God puts you in spaces where like you can utilize the gifts that you do have, but also even you being an admin, if like that wasn't the spot for you, but like you learned that though, and like you were able like to gracefully find that out rather than like
For sure.
in your face.
Yeah.
I lost my
Yeah.
thought, but
Even preparing you just
Yeah.
with little skills, because we can't always do the things that we're good at. If
Yeah.
we're always doing the things that we're good at, we're never gonna be like, we're never gonna grow.
Yeah.
We're not gonna change.
Yeah.
We're just simply gonna
Yeah.
stay the same, and we would all be the same if we only did the things that we're good at. But if I step into a job and I'm like, I'm not good at organization either. I'm like, okay, you can give me like a little bit, but I like doing it in my own way maybe. Or like, I'm not good with being on time all the time. Like that's
amen to that.
and so, but if I were to be given a job where it's like you do not have the flexibility to be late and to go early or anything like that, like I would have to be challenged. And then it prepares me for the jobs that I'm really good at. Then I now have skills that I've had to like put myself into and work really, really hard at to grow in.
Lou, you're so wise.
Oh,
That is
thank
so
you,
true,
you.
because you're right. If we're all doing the thing that we're best at, which this job, being that admin for the full year and a half or whatever, I sucked in the beginning, but then I learned how to be good.
Yeah.
And I'm not great, but you know,
Hey,
that's when
you
you
learned.
also have to stretch yourself. I
Yeah.
think that is so wise.
Yeah,
That is so
exactly.
good.
And being
So
comfortable
good.
with being uncomfortable, you know?
Good.
You know, that's actually a quote Liz said, like, or maybe that's not Liz said. I don't know. I'm pretty sure
What?
that's Liz said. She's always like, oh yeah, like learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Or like that type of mindset. I feel like maybe that, honestly, I could really be dreaming that that's what she said to me one time, but I really just kept it in my head. And so I'm getting a little off track now that I've thought
Shout
about
out.
that.
It's okay.
Also, if y'all hear the music, worship practice is happening right now.
Yes.
So shout out, free sneak peek to Sunday. Yeah, I think just being different though. I think that's again that I just keep on bringing it back to, like, that's the beauty of being in the body of Christ though, is that we all are different, that we all aren't the same. Yeah, I don't know.
And work together in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like
It's beautiful.
Nathan and Pastor Linda just saying, or Pastor Nathan, the other guy, you know, that other
The
guy.
other guy.
The other guy.
Your boss.
And my boss. And they're just like, okay, how can we make this work? Because their words, not mine. She's incredible. We got to keep her, we got to do something with her. Because I am. Like, once we are willing, we just got to be willing.
Yeah.
What is it that I can do in
Yeah.
the church? How can we be working together to support one another? Like, we're all different, and that's incredible.
Yeah. And really,
And
I've
that's so
embracing
good.
it. And that is so
That
good.
is so
Yeah.
good.
Embracing it. So good.
So, okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know if we're close to the end here, but what made you guys okay with being different? Like, what helps you embrace the uniqueness of who you are?
Ooh, I was not prepared
Do you
for
want
that
me to go
question.
first? Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think being different from others, though, I feel like I'm different from others in a lot of ways. I feel like I'm really good at publicly, like, putting a front up and like, oh, like I'm fine, I'm set, like whatever. But I think being different, like God has given me just a different perspective on a lot of like different things. Like I know what it's like to not be included, to not feel like I'm welcome in spaces, or I feel like I'm just too different. I'm not cool enough. I'm like just too different to be in groups of other people and all things like that. So I think that is like, I think I came to terms with that, and I realized, oh, God like is gonna use that for good. Like that feeling, I can see the people on the outside. I can see people who are different, and it's like, oh, I relate to you. Like that gives us like a common ground to work with, and then from there we can actually build steps into like having a friendship or a serving together or doing all the things. is that like being different from others just like gave me a really unique perspective that I would not have gotten if I was like every single person around me.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I feel like that I relate to a lot as well. Being similar minded. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus my thought on what I feel like also just I'm still a senior in high school.
Mhm.
And I'm moving on to a new stage of life in a couple of months. And so I've been in the mindset of like what sets me apart and am I okay with being set apart from my peers? Am I okay with being set apart from the people around me? And I think especially just over the course of my high school years, I have allowed God to just really allow me to embrace what makes me different in that area of life. Embracing the fact that wanting to be in ministry is different and being okay with that. Sometimes it's really hard to accept the fact that I really want to be in this place because it's hard. I think I would just point it back to God, like always having to think like, okay, these are the things that I want to do, and I need to embrace the things that I feel like I want to be different in. And if I want to be different in it, I want to roll with it. But I also feel like embracing being different helps a lot of people break out of the mold of wanting to be everybody else.
For sure.
And so that's why even trend starts. People who want to be different and want to do something that not everybody else is doing. That's why a trend starts, is because they see that and then they grab hold of it. And so embracing things that just make you and make you want to do the things that you want to do is just as simple as like, I just realized that. I was just like, those people are cool and I admire those people. And what are those people doing? They're being different. They're not being me. They're not being them. They're just being who they are. And I just really like that. And so I just started embracing what other people were embracing. And I was like, okay, I'll just be okay with it. It's better than, focusing all the time about what I'm not good at and who I'm not.
Yeah. And you know what, Lou? That's so good.
Okay, so I'm going to mute your mic now.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Oh
I'm
my
just kidding. Well, this has been really lovely. And
good.
I don't mean to end it abruptly. I wish we could talk for hours and hours. And I just would like to give you a big thank you, Sienna, for giving your time and giving your wise words. And just your really kind, warm, welcoming heart. And we just love the fact that you've been able to be on the podcast for an episode, and hopefully maybe others in the future. Nathan, if you don't have any closing thoughts, we can move on to our little announcements.
Cool.
Well,
Again,
first, thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this. And thank you for welcoming me in.
Absolutely.
No, for real.
How
Sienna,
could we not?
Thank you so much. The way
Yeah.
we are so excited to see you like venture out on this next journey of being the youth director.
Absolutely.
I think I'm really excited to see how you will actually take it by the reins and like see just you flourish and like you continue to grow and be in a space that like works for you and that like you feel confident in doing. And I'm really excited to see like that next season of you and just growing into the person that God has made you to be. And just as your friend, as someone who serves alongside you, I'm really proud of you and I'm really excited
Thank
to
you, Nathan.
be a part of this next journey with you. For real. Again, thank you so much, Sienna, for being on this episode of the podcast. But before we leave, we have a couple of exciting announcements
Yeah, we
that
do.
you do not want to miss out on. Our first one, hey Lou, where should they follow us?
Oh, you guys already know. Follow us at the bay.youth. Don't forget the dot.
Do not forget
We
it.
post all kinds of things. We post little updates about what's going on at the Bay Youth. Summer camp is coming up.
Yeah, it
Fundraising
is.
for summer camp. We don't want you guys to miss it. We really want to see you guys there this summer. Amazing experience that you'll never want to miss out on.
Never.
So all the updates are there. Pictures of you and your friends are there.
Yeah.
Funny little trends that we're doing are there just to make you laugh. And so, go give us a
Yeah.
follow.
And speaking of summer camp, it is not too late to sign up.
It is not too late.
Please go to our Instagram, tap the link in our bio, and you can register for camp today.
Yes, you can.
I believe in early May, prices go up. So do not miss out on like the lower pricing. Honestly, best week of your life. You will not regret it. I'll be there. Santa will be there.
Oh, yeah.
Lou, we'll find out.
We will find out. It's that
She's
little
gotta
surprise.
register.
For
Yeah.
real.
Register after this.
And one thing though is if you look at the price tag and you're like, oh, that looks like a lot. Do not let money be an issue for you to go to camp. Do not let that be a reason for why you don't go. We do have a couple of fundraisers happening.
Yeah, we do.
And happening April 19th. So just in a few weeks, we are having our first annual golf tournament fundraiser.
Yeah,
It's going to be
so
very
good.
exciting. I have no other information about it. So please make sure you
Yeah.
check out our Instagram and you can help serve there and you can get funds for camp. Again, if money is an issue or it seems like a stressor or a reason why you would not go,
Reach
come
out.
find us. Come talk to us. Come DM us. Come talk to your small group leader at youth. We got you. Do not let that be an issue.
Yeah.
Come
Say hi.
Come say hi.
We'll see you
But
guys.
also,
Never
Lou,
mind.
when do we see each other? Tell us, please.
Oh my gosh.
Every single week.
I just wanted to tell you, if you guys want some awesome people to be with, awesome people to talk to, awesome conversation to happen, we meet Tuesdays 6:30 at the Concord campus and Wednesdays at 6:30 at the Brentwood campus. We would love to see you guys there. It is just the best time, best family ever.
Worship, sermon, community, games.
Yeah.
All
It's a
the good
blast.
things.
And your friends will be there too, so don't miss
Yeah,
out.
they will.
Okay.
Well, we'll see you guys next episode.
I don't know how to end this, so bye.
I don't know.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.